speaking.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. How are you all doing today?
Good.
Good? Yeah? Are we excited to be here?
Yes.
Okay, ready to move and do some things? Well, my name is Lisa Brisse, and I traveled all the way over from the ocean from Santa Monica to be here with you today. And I'm an exercise physiologist, wellness coach, and founder of State of the Heart Fitness in Santa Monica. And so we're going to do some Deskercise and talk about posture and how to relieve some of the tension we might get from sitting all day. Are you at your desks and this is what you do? Yes. Okay. So this is very appropriate. You signed up for this for a reason.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Before we actually dive in, why don't we get up and let's just move a little bit, okay? So just give yourself some space where you can, and we're not going to be doing anything intense, but we're just going to start to move. So give yourself a little bit of area to move and swing those arms. So your feet are wide. There we go. Yes, feet are wide. And just swing your arms side to side. Does everybody remember doing this as a kid? I remember just standing there and just swinging your arms. And why did we stop doing that?
They don't even think about it, actually. It's like cats and dogs
Right.
stretching.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, we don't do that.
We don't. And feel how good it feels on your spine and your rib cage just by doing this every day, a little bit. We get up from your desk and swing. And then let's take those arms out in front of us. So when your feet are about shoulder width apart, let's just bend those knees slightly and tuck your tailbone. And just spread your shoulder blades. Imagine yourself wrapping those arms around a big tree or whatever, whoever you want to give a big hug to. Tuck the chin, breathe in and out through the nose, and just kind of start moving around, lifting one shoulder, the other, just exploring your body where you feel a little tension. And then let's take those arms behind us, interlace the fingers, open up the chest, keep those knees soft, hips tucked underneath. Yes, feel that stretch through the shoulders. We're going to be doing a little bit more of these stretches a little later, as well as some strengthening exercises, and then we're going to use the foam rollers and the tennis balls to relieve some of that stress and the tension of the muscles. Shake out those arms. Let's just do a little backstroke. Do we have any swimmers in here? None? No swimmers. Okay, well then we're imaginary swimmers right now. Big stroke. Yes, getting some rotation in those shoulders. Yes. Shoulders take a beating in our lifetime from all the stress that we carry, carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders. Hello, welcome.
Hello.
Good.
Use this space.
Excellent. And then let's just shake out those arms and roll the shoulders up and around in a backward direction. And the backward direction is because most of the time we're forward. So let's just open it up. Feel the shoulder blades slide down your back. Good. And then let's take our hands on the hips and just rotate our upper body around. So keep your hips fairly steady and just imagine if you're drawing a circle with your head on the ceiling. Good. And you get that movement through the spine and reverse the direction. Yes. Oh.
Every day.
Good. And then let's shake out those arms and just shake out the legs a little bit. Of course, our parents were like, wait a minute, didn't you do your backpacking trip right after college? And we were like, yeah, but, we're still young. We've got to do this. So anyway, we ended up going to Greece for 3 months. We came back. I ended up getting a job at the Pritikin Longevity Center in Santa Monica. Has anybody ever heard of Pritikin before? Pritikin, it's no longer in Santa Monica, it's now in Florida, but it was a residential program for people with heart disease and diabetes, and they'd actually come and live for a week to 2 weeks to a month at a time, depending on the severity of their disease. And they'd get exercise classes every day. They would eat the Pritikin diet, which was primarily vegetarian, not completely, very low sodium, low sugar, low fat, very high fiber. And they would get lectures on healthy lifestyle and stress management, and it was amazing to see the transformation in people's health and their whole well-being just in 2 weeks' time. About 80% of the people who came there would get off their medications, cholesterol, blood pressure, diabetics would get off their insulin, just from doing exercise every day and eating better. And what I learned at Pritikin was how miraculous and resilient our body is. And it is so programmed to be healthy, but we get in the way of that. And when we really take the time and give the nurturing and care to our body, it's amazing what can happen. Transformation like you can't believe. So I was there for 7 years, and I loved my job there, just because I could see the positive change in people, even in a week of just being there, their whole being would change. They moved to Florida in 2001. I was invited to go with them, but I wasn't crazy about the idea of living in Florida, so I ended up founding my own business, State of the Heart Fitness, with a colleague of mine at the time. And I have continued my business in Santa Monica, personal training, exercise classes, basically coaching people through healthy lifestyle change. And I've done some online courses and all of that. And I love to speak and share my knowledge and get people to have fun and enjoy movement and exercise. And so that's where I've been ever since. So that's a little bit about me. I had an interesting experience back in 2002. I had an injury. It was a back injury, but the bottom line is that it put me on the floor. I literally was on the floor for about 3 or 4 days that I could not move. And it started with my back just starting to get tight, and so I just would do the stretches and the strengthening exercises for the core that I would tell all my clients to do, and it just kept getting worse and worse, and I just didn't understand what was going on. And all of a sudden, one day I was in my car and I could literally feel my back seize up. If it didn't happen to me, I'd be like, how is that possible? But I could hardly get out of my car. And I literally walked like this, and I went to teach my classes and train my clients like this, because nothing's going to get Lisa down. And one of my clients, he was, I think, probably like 75 at that time, and I was walking with him on the beach. About 10 minutes in, he's like, Lisa, what are you doing? You are in pain. And I'm like, no, we can keep going, it's fine. He's like, you keep telling me to take care of myself. It's time that you take care of yourself. Well, that was extremely humbling. He's like, you need to go home and you need to take care of yourself. And I went home and I went and laid on the floor, and there I was for about 3 or 4 days. I could hardly move, and of course I'm crying like, this isn't supposed to happen to me. I'm the exercise instructor. But I learned something so incredibly valuable that really propelled me into the next 15 years. And I learned that we all have our things that we're overachievers, overdoers, all of this. And I was overdoing, and I was overachieving. I was like, I wasn't getting enough sleep. I was push, and my body was saying, Lisa, we need a little bit of rest, we need a little bit of TLC, and we ignore those signs, we ignore them, and then all of a sudden, boom, I was on the floor. And I always say to my clients now that, the body always has the last say. We can push, we can challenge until something is going to stop us, and it's usually our body. For me, it was my back. For some, it can be a heart attack, for some, it can be a stroke, or whatever it is, where it wakes us up and says, listen, I've been tapping you on the shoulder for a while. I need you to listen, because our body's so amazing and resilient, and we use it and abuse it for years until finally it says, I can't do this anymore. If we keep going, I can't do it. So anyway, it just really opened my eyes. It gave me such compassion, and it taught me balance. I was the athlete that no pain, no gain in my 20s, and guess what? I look back, gosh, I was injured all the time, hated being injured, but you push through the pain. And anyway, so it really taught me about balance and really tuning in, and that our body is always giving us the messages. It wants to work for us. We just have a tendency to ignore it and override it because we're so distracted with everything in our society. And everything in our society says, ignore this, keep pushing. Does it sound right to everybody? So anyway, that's a little bit about my story. So my passion is really helping people to honor this amazing vehicle that we've been given, and how do we take care of it just with little things every single day. So that's a little bit of my story. By the way, if you have any questions about anything, we're going to save at least 10 minutes at the end, so if you have any questions, please save, okay? All right, so the body, as I was just telling you, it's the temple of the soul. It is amazingly resilient and basically a miracle in this universe, and I'm not even exaggerating. Its natural state of being is one of balance and optimal health. Can you see okay? Okay. It lets us know in every moment what it needs to stay in that state of balance. The only reason why we get out of balance is because we're not tuning in. If we're saying, we're running without enough sleep, and then we get up in the morning and we drink coffee and we just aren't feeling our body well, we aren't getting enough sleep, all of that, but our body is always telling us what it needs. We just need to tune in. It is the storehouse for all of our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. Everything that we think and believe, it affects us on a cellular level in some way. I could do a whole talk about that alone. And mostly what I want people to know is that our body really is our friend and it's our messenger. And if we listen and tune in, it will take care of us, but we have to take care of it first. Okay? It is the home and our vehicle in this life. We don't get another one. There's no body transplants, right? It's the only one we have. All right, so the importance of exercise. Obviously, there's many things, but it helps prevent and or reverse heart disease and diabetes. It helps with weight loss and maintenance. Obviously, calories in versus calories out. Ideally, we want to be expending more calories than we consume. Unfortunately, it takes more energy to expend calories than it does to consume. We can consume pretty quickly and a lot. I always say, like a piece of cake, a dessert or whatever. Maybe it's about 500 calories. How long does it take for us to eat that? How long on the treadmill? It's about an hour and a half. Is it worth the 500 calories, in a few minutes versus, being an hour and a half to expend the same amount? So people say, that's not fair. It's not fair, but actually the body was designed perfectly. It was actually designed to store energy for the feast and the famine back in the day, because we didn't have convenience stores on every corner when people were on the land and the hunters and gatherers. They ate when they had the feast, and those that stored the most calories obviously survived the famine. And the problem in our society is we never have the famine. We always have a feast. So anyway, diseases of affluence in our country, of course, are because we have the feast all the time. It serves as a great stress reliever. Have any of you had a stressful day and you go do some exercise and you're like, oh God, I feel so much better. Exercise, the movement of exercise is actually the last stage of the stress response. We go into fight or flight, we're stressed, the body secretes all these stress hormones, and what it is designed to do is to prepare you to either run or duke it out. And of course, that's the last stage, is the actual movement. So that's why it actually releases the stress hormones. Now, what happens when we don't move? We end up storing all of that. And those stored stress hormones start to eat away at our immune system. They cause us to store fat, excess fat, all of it. So exercise really is the great balancer and the stress reliever. It stimulates neuron growth, more brain power, clears the brain fog. And of course, it helps us to stay balanced in our body, mind, and spirit. So we all make time for what we feel is important and of value. Do we agree about that? Yes? So that sometimes we just forget how valuable this is. I think one of the key things, and one of the things that I coach my clients on, is that every choice we make, whether it's conscious or unconscious, either enhances our health and well-being and takes us closer to where we want to be as far as health-wise, as far as where we want to be in our life, or it actually takes us away. So every little choice that we make throughout the day, if we choose to, I'm either going to eat this candy bar or I'm going to eat this apple, it might be a small choice, but it all makes a difference. If I'm going to go walk instead of take the elevator, take the stairs instead of the elevator, it all makes a difference. I try to get my clients to think that you don't have to go to the gym. We think, oh, I don't have an hour, and then the time getting there and all of that. If you got 2 minutes, start doing some squats. I don't care where you are, if you're at the copy machine, whatever. I have a friend of mine from childhood who, she's a mother of 2, she lives in Minnesota, and she's an online professor, and so very sedentary. She's like, I just feel like I can't get to the gym. I'm like, well, are you doing laundry? She's like, yeah. I said, well, do some push-ups against the wall, do some squats, get out for a walk a little bit, So if we can get into the mindset, we think it has to be all or nothing. I have to go to the gym, or we make it a big production. Every little choice we make actually helps. So think of every step that you make is actually taking you closer to where you want to be. Every choice to not take that step maybe is taking you further away. Okay, so just changing our mindset. Movement equals life. We just have to always remember that everything in life is moving, right? I mean, nothing stops. Life just keeps going, and we are a part of that flow. If we've had a loss of somebody that you love, you just want life to stop. But it keeps going. The sun comes up the next day, and we have to be a part of that. And when I say movement equals life, think of a river or a stream that's moving versus a pond or a slough that's just, murky and dark and everything. Our bodies, our minds are kind of the same way. If we're moving, we keep everything fresh and clean in the circulation. If we're not, we kind of get a little stuck and stagnant. Okay? Nobody wants to be stuck and stagnant. All right, so a quote to remember. This is probably my favorite quote, and it was spoken over 2,000 years ago by Herophilus, Greek philosopher. He said, when health is absent, wisdom cannot reveal itself, art cannot become manifest, strength cannot be exerted, wealth is useless, and reason is powerless. And it was true then, and it's just as true now. When we don't have our health, it doesn't matter how much money we have, what we own, what things we have. And having worked with people, when I worked at Pritikin, I worked with people from all over the world, some of the wealthiest people, celebrities. I will never forget, I was 24 years old. I was maybe there a couple of months. I was teaching a class, a stretch class, and there was a gentleman, when everybody had left the class, there was a gentleman, he was about 55. He was lean. You didn't think, he didn't have, you wouldn't look at him and go, oh, he's unhealthy. But he had just suffered a massive heart attack and survived, and his doctor recommended that he come to Pritikin to learn a healthier way of being. And anyway, after everybody had left, he was sitting in the back corner with his head between his knees. And knowing that he had just suffered a massive heart attack, I was like, I'm 24, I'm just out of school, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh. And I went up to him, his name's Harry, and I said, Harry, are you okay? And he looked up to me, and he was crying. And I said, what's wrong? And he said, Lisa, I have made millions in my business. I've traveled the world over many times. And he said, but I look at you, and you are richer than me. You have something that all of my money can't buy. And if I was to do my life over again, I would do what you're doing. At 24, and again, we're taught that what do we aspire to make money and all of this. And that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that when we forget to take care of this. So when I talk about, when we are investing in our future, we always think financially. But we can invest financially, but if we haven't taken care of this, and like I say, I've seen so many, they get in their 50s and their 60s, and they can't even enjoy the retirement that they have because they're going to the doctors all the time. One of my clients, he's 72, he was a film editor for years, and he's suffering from heart disease, and, he just says, this isn't what I planned for. And, and so if I can instill in anything that our health is our wealth, and it is the most important investment we can ever make. So, I love that quote. All right. Sitting is the new smoking. Has anybody heard that?
Yes.
Yes. It is what they have found out about what sitting for long periods of time does is it's as bad, if not worse, than smoking. It's unbelievable. So let's look at some of the facts of sitting. And to be honest, when I actually looked these up, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Sitting for more than 6 hours a day makes you 40% more likely to die 15 years earlier than someone who sits less than 3 hours, even if you work out. Does that not make you want to get up out of the chair right now and be like, I gotta get moving here? Just that alone. A 2012 study from England's University how do you pronounce that? Leicester? Okay. I don't want to butcher it, out of respect for any Brits who might be watching. Showed prolonged sitting was also linked to a greater risk of death from all causes, but the strongest link is to diabetes. As soon as you sit, electrical activity in the legs muscles shuts off. So all the brain and neuron electrical activity, when we sit down, shuts off. Calorie burning drops to 1 calorie per minute, and enzymes that help break down fat drop 90%. Again, nobody's ever going to want to sit again after this. Additionally, too much time spent sitting can decrease good cholesterol and insulin effectiveness, which raises your risk of getting diabetes. And people who sit most of the day have an increased risk of heart attack, and that the risk is the same as smoking. Yikes. So anyway, it's probably not a good thing to sit most of the day. I wanted to, let's see, how did I do this? Oops, no, I gotta go back. I wanted to show you a cute little video.
You can click exit here.
Okay.
Set it up for you.
It's just a cute little video, and it's very powerful. Okay, and we'll do this here, so you all can see it. Okay.
Busy day, but considering many of us spend our entire workday at a desk, followed by downtime in front of a computer or TV, one has to wonder, how exactly is sitting affecting your body? The answer is pretty shocking. As soon as you sit down, the electrical activity in your muscles drops significantly and your calorie burning rate plummets to about 1 calorie per minute. After only 3 hours of sitting, there's a 50% drop in artery dilation and as a result a decrease in blood flow. Sit for 24 hours straight and the insulin in your body loses nearly 40% of its ability to uptake glucose, which increases the risk of type 2 diabetes. And things only get worse from here. After 2 weeks of sitting for more than 6 hours a day, LDL cholesterol, sometimes called the bad cholesterol, is increased along with other fatty molecules, putting you at a greater risk for weight gain. On top of this, the enzymes responsible for breaking down fats plunge, and because of the prolonged inactivity, your muscles begin to break down. Gradually, their contractions become weaker, ultimately impeding the pumping of blood to your heart. Even if you work out regularly, the minute you stop moving, the deterioration begins again in proportion to your sitting time. And that's the scary part. Research shows that just as exercise doesn't necessarily counteract the negative effects of something like smoking, it doesn't counteract the negative effects of too much sitting. A year later, the effects begin to compound, and some studies in women have even shown a decrease in bone mass upwards of 1% every year. Think your brain is more important than your body? Physical movement not only helps pump blood and oxygen to the brain, but also sends mood-enhancing hormones. When we don't move, brain function begins to slow down. Perhaps the most shocking is that after 10 to 20 years of sitting for 6 hours a day, you may have lost up to 7 quality-adjusted life years. That is, years without medical issues or death. For example, the risk of dying from heart disease increases by 64%, while the risk of prostate or breast cancer increases by 30%. If everybody sat for no more than 3 hours a day, it's estimated that the average lifespan would rise by 2 years. Simply put, our bodies aren't designed to be sedentary, and sitting for 8 hours a day at work is just as bad for those who go home and watch TV as it is for those who hit up the gym. It can literally be a lethal activity. So what's the best solution? We put together a list of the top tips to fight the sitting epidemic.
We're going to go over some of those things, some exercise. So I know we can all be like depressed, like, oh my God, like my life is over. And it's not. It's not. The key thing here is that we can move, and there's so many choices that we can make. So let's make sure that I'm on the, let's see, how do I get
Your current slide.
current slide right there?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to posture. How many of you think you have not maybe the best posture? Yeah, probably all of us.
Not the best posture or the best posture?
Not the best
Okay,
posture.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's really easy to not have good posture. That client of mine that I was mentioning that was a film editor his whole career, literally, this is him. He can't even straighten up because he's been at this computer his whole life. And so we have to really, like sometimes I just want to go behind him and just like break him, but I can't. Of course, we have to work on, but really opening this up. And he has improved some, but yes. So let's stand up and let's just feel what it feels like to have over-exaggerated bad posture versus what it feels like to have good posture. So first let's go into bad posture mode. Okay, so we get lazy, and we all do. And I'm actually a writer in addition to teaching exercise, so I'm sitting a lot, so I have to really be conscious of how I'm sitting. So round out those shoulders. How do we feel about ourselves in this position? If you went into an interview like this, hi. Okay, doesn't really speak much of our confidence of ourselves. Now let's go ahead and let's stand up. Square those shoulders. Think of those shoulders, your ears, your shoulders right over those hips. Open up that chest wide, leading with the heart. How does that feel? Feel more confidence, like strong? Have a more of a power place. This, I'm not worthy. This, you want to hire me, right? So you can just be more mindful. Let's sit down in our chairs and think of how do you just naturally sit in that chair? I know for myself, when I sit in my chair to sit down and write, I can easily go like this. And I have to constantly remind myself to bring myself back. Can you feel the difference? So when you're sitting in that chair, ideally we want those knees square with the hips, your feet on the floor. Your back is tall, just like we did when we were standing, pulling those shoulders back. We're going to do a few strengthening exercises in just a little bit that will help to enhance our posture, okay? So you can all feel the difference. So what is one of your assignments from this moment forward through the rest of your life? Is to be mindful of your posture and how you're sitting and how you're standing, and notice how it feels in your body, okay? Effects of poor posture. Obviously, we know this. It changes the spinal curve, which can cause long-term pain and discomfort, and we're not able to maintain proper balance, okay, which can set us up for injuries. It can actually cause poor digestion, because when you think about it, what's happening to your organs, your intestines, your liver, your stomach when you're sitting like this? All of it compresses, so it actually decreases circulation to our internal organs. I know, who would ever think that? It increases our risk of cardiovascular disease. An Australian study shows poor posture can increase risk by 147%. So we have shorter life expectancy, poor posture, just from poor posture. Varicose veins, anybody have? Well, you don't have to admit that. But anyway, joy, not joy. You know, we just don't like how they look. And, you know, so what varicose veins are is the veins in our legs because of lack of exercise and, you know, sitting. Is the blood starts to pool into our legs, and it actually, the veins become, they lose their elasticity, and so they become like little places where the blood pools. So, and then of course we can have chronic back pain. About 80% of all people experience chronic back pain at some point in time. How about a show of hands if any of you have felt it? You know, again, back before I had my back issue, when people would say, oh God, my back just went out, I'd be like, really? Oh gosh, you know, we're so young and naive and we think we know it all back in our 20s, you know, and then, oh God, and then life hits you and, oh yeah, I could see how that happened now, you know, so you have a lot more understanding and compassion, or at least I did. So myofascia, what is it? The fascia is a three-dimensional web of connective tissue that permeates through your whole body, and it consists of 3 layers. We have the superficial, which is directly underneath the skin. So it's like, think of that web, it's just this connective tissue that surrounds all of your tissues. So it's right below the skin, stores fat and water, allows nerves to run through it, and allows muscles to move the skin. A little deeper layer surrounds the muscles, the bones, the nerves, blood vessels to the cellular level. And the deepest one is that it actually sits within the dura of the cranial system, way deep in your brain. It is it's continuous and runs through the whole body from your head to your toes, and everything is connected. So when we do like a stretch like this, and you reach through the fingertips, you can feel it all the way down into your feet. Okay, so it's this connective tissue that connects everything. What's the fuzz? What's the fuzz? Tell me what you're talking about. Does anybody remember that from the... Okay, I'm dating myself. I had parents who were hippies in the 60s, so I think it was... Jesus Christ Superstar, the musical, yes. What's the fuzz? All right, we're going on.
It's been too long.
It's been too long, I know. What is the fuzz? So we're talking about the fascia. Okay, so this is kind of a cross-section of a muscle belly. Let's think of our bicep here. So this is our bicep, and within the bicep, or within the muscle belly, you have muscle fibers. These are little muscle fibers. Within the muscle fibers, you have what are called myofibrils, so the smallest unit of a muscle. And the fascia encases the muscle, it encases the myofibrils.
It's a touch screen.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
look at that. Okay, like it's magic. And it also encases the myofibrils. So this is kind of what it looks like. You think of cobwebs, That's what it looks like in your body. It's the connective tissue, the cobwebs, the fuzz that is in between all of your tissues. Okay? Oh, so I can actually touch it. This is actually a picture of a cadaver, and you can actually see, oops.
Yeah, maybe don't.
Oh, don't touch it. I wasn't even touching it. It's very heat sensitive. But you can see that that is, the fuzz is the connective tissue that starts to form, the kind of the excess connective tissue that starts to form just from being sedentary. Like, you can get this, acquire this, just from a night's sleep. And you're a little stiff in the morning. That's what that is. Who has dogs and cats? What do they do as soon as they get up?
Stretch.
Stretch! They're getting rid of their fuzz.
150 times a day.
Exactly, exactly. They are our teachers. Observe them. When they stretch, you stretch. Okay? Because that's what they're doing, is they are actually getting rid of the fuzz. When we don't move, so even just like what we were doing, if you get up, from your desk for a few minutes and just move, feel where you feel that stretch, that helps to get rid of this fuzz. When we don't do that, it gets thicker and thicker and thicker, and we become more stiff, more at risk for injury, affects our posture. Okay? So that's what the fuzz is. So myofascial tension is basically tension in that connective tissue. When it's relaxed and healthy, it's loose and supple, like a weave of a loose knit sweater, and allows for free flowing movement. When it's not, when it's tight and restricted, it's rigid and less elastic, thereby creating pulling, tension, and pressure. Have we all heard of trigger points? Have anybody had a massage in here where all of a sudden they push and you're like, whoa, right there. That's what that is that it's like a ball. It's a knot of tension in the body, and that's where we experience pain. And then the results, of course, can be misalignment, overuse of the joints, especially the hip and the shoulder, excessive pressure points in the muscles and joints, and of course, back and headaches. What's the treatment? To move. First and foremost, movement equals life. We've been talking about that. Gets rid of the fuzz. Myofascial release therapy. So stretching, cardiovascular exercise, walking. Foam rollers. We've got some foam rollers. We'll practice with those. Some trigger point balls. Theracane, I don't know if any of you have seen that. It looks like a big candy cane, and it allows you to push on pressure points in your back. If you go to the Relax the Back store, they have plenty of them. Others, of course, massage therapy, physical therapy, and acupuncture. The key here is be active and move. And this is how we're all going to look when we leave the room. Right? Remember, a little bit goes a long way. So, it's time. Let's all stand up. And some of these we did to start off our class today. So let's just, again, give yourself some space and do. And here's, actually, you're going to get a handout of all the exercises that we're going to do today. And Rebecca will hand those out. But let's just, again, the torso twist, swinging those arms. Making sure we're not punching anybody in the face unless they deserve it.
Arms are about that long.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, wow.
There we go. And again, we know how good this feels, right? So how many times a day are you going to make it your goal to get
Every
up
time
and
my dog does it.
Every time the dog does it. All right.
I'm just going to copy for you.
Yes, yes. Yes, make commitments to each other. What are we going to do? We're going to have little stretch breaks. All right. Now we're going to do a little strengthening exercise. So find yourself the wall, or you can use the table, and we'll just do some push-ups. This is for strength, okay? We all know if we don't use that upper body, the muscles go, and especially as women, we can lose a lot of muscle tissue. So ideally you want to have, your hands maybe about shoulder width apart, okay? So again, if it's going to be against the desk, it's going to be a little bit, you're at a little different angle, so it'll be more of your body weight. If you're against the wall, it will be a little easier. So let's just go ahead and do a few of these so you can feel. And I want you to inhale as you lower yourself down, exhale as you push yourself back. So your breath actually becomes the pace setter. So we're not just racing through it. And we want to do it at a nice and slow, steady pace, because that really makes those muscles work. So the breath is the perfect pace setter. You inhale down, you exhale as you exert. Is everybody feeling that?
Yes.
And where do you feel it? The arms, the shoulders, the feet. Interesting. Okay, good. Okay, so you can do a few little wall push-ups, desk push-ups. I would say 15 to 20 reps. You know, do it a few times a day if you can. Again, strengthens the upper body. All righty. All good? Next one, scapular squeeze, upper back and shoulders. This is really, really important for those of us that are sitting and round shouldered. We need to pull those shoulders back. So whether you're sitting or standing, since we're all standing, let's get those feet wide, knees bent. You're going to reach those arms forward. So tuck your tailbone. Inhale. Exhale. Bring the elbows back and squeeze the shoulder blades. Feel that? And then inhale forward. And exhale, squeeze. Inhale forward. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale forward. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale forward. Exhale, squeeze. Keep the shoulders down away from those ears and really bring the focus into the upper back. You can all feel that between the shoulder blades? Yes. Good. So again, 15 to 20 reps. Maybe a set in the morning, set at lunch, set in the afternoon. You're going to set the example for your family and friends. Oh yeah, I do my exercise throughout my day. Good. Couple more. Exhale, squeeze. One more, and then hold it here. Just hold. And let's just do some little presses. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. So you should feel a little fatigue in the back, right? 4, 3, 2, and 1. Yes. Yes, we feel stronger, better posture already.
It's good stuff.
All right, it is good stuff. Okay, some squats. We talked about squats. Burn, baby, burn. Now you can do these just in the air, or you can do sit to stands from your chair to standing up. If you're doing it without the chair, we're going to imagine there's a chair there. And our feet are hip width apart, knees again always slightly bent. And you're going to squat down, keep your back tall. So imagine reaching that booty out towards that chair and then coming up. Here you can do a combination of the scapular squeeze with the squat if you want to. So reach down and squeeze. Isn't that amazing? Squeeze, yes. Being efficient with our time, squeeze. Good. And if anybody has any knee concerns, of course, going down lower will probably exacerbate that a little bit, but if you can go down just to a point, that feels okay. Is everybody okay with their knees? Yeah? I always tell my clients, listen to your body. If a movement does not quite feel right, if you feel any sharp shooting pains, those are your signs. Remember, listen to the body. The body's your messenger. Good. Let's do about 4 more. With enthusiasm, yes. Woohoo! 3, yes. 2. Hold it here just for fun. Yes, for fun, right? For the health of it. Have you ever seen a jockey on a horse? Can you imagine sitting like this on a 1,200-pound animal for like a minute and a half? Holy cow. Come on and shake out those legs. Wow. Do you feel that burn in those legs? Yes. That's change. That is your muscles going, oh my God, we got to adapt. We got to do something here. So that's what we want to achieve. So somewhere 15 to 20 or when you feel that fatigue. Okay. So we've been doing the back. We did the back and chest stretch, but let's do it again. So first, let's do the back stretch. So let's go ahead. When you're standing, again, always knees slightly bent, shoulder width apart, tuck that tailbone, round out your back. So spread those shoulder blades. Yes. Breathing, so important, so key. So long, slow, deep breaths. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Close your eyes and just follow the breath in through the nose, down deep into the lungs. Feel your body as you inhale. Feel it as you exhale. Feel how it feels different. Let's take those arms up and back. Interlace your fingers if you can. If not, you can just bring those arms wide. Whatever feels right. Keep those knees soft. Tuck those tailbones. Smiles on those faces. No place we'd rather be right now, right? Breathing. We have a tendency to hold our breath in these exciting positions. And we need to breathe through it, okay? So when we actually hold our breath, we create more stress within the body. So breathing is actually the key to life. Obviously, we know if we don't breathe, we don't live. So breathing is the key. Always breathe, long, slow, deep stretch, breaths. All right, hamstring stretch, which is really good if we sit a lot. So you can pull a chair out, or you can just do it on the floor. Okay, if you want to do it just on the floor, you can bring one leg forward with your toe up, or you can put your foot up on a chair, whatever feels best for you. So here's the key. Keep your back tall, and then sit down on those hips and lean forward. But don't round up the shoulders. Keep the shoulders back, and you should feel the stretch in the back of your leg and your calves. And when you pull your toes up, you get a little bit more of that stretch in the calf.
My leg is mad at me.
And we breathe through it. Yes. Does anybody know how long we want to hold each stretch for?
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
A minute, 30 seconds.
Good. 30 seconds. 15 to 30 seconds on the bare minimum. 30 to 60 seconds better. The longer you can hold, the more time those muscle fibers have to release. And then let's release, and we'll switch to the other side. Take that leg out. Toe up. Back tall. Sit down on those hips and lean forward. Lead with the heart. And breathe. Yes. Doesn't it feel good to breathe? When I teach my clients stress relief, I have them just take a couple minutes, just close their eyes and breathe. Long, slow, deep breaths. So when you find yourself stressed, you know, your shoulders are up in your ears, that's your body's cues that I need to take a few deep breaths, center myself, let go of the stress. Just by doing that, go ahead and release. You got that leg. It will recenter yourself, recalibrate, clear your mind. Okay? All right, so that's the hamstring stretch. Glute and hip stretch. So this one you will do in your chair, and you'll just sit on the edge of your chair, and you'll cross one leg. Okay, did I take anybody's chair? Are we good? Okay, so let's cross that right leg. Back is tall. First thing, just take your right hand and press down on that knee. That might be enough for you to feel that stretch. If you want more of a stretch, keep the heart forward, shoulders relaxed, and lean forward. And you feel it a little bit deeper, right? And what are we doing in the meantime? Breathing. Yes. Holding each stretch, what? How long? 15 to 30. 60 is ideal, yes. Does anybody do yoga? A couple of you? Yeah? Even if you do one time a week. Restorative, really good for stress relief. I wouldn't necessarily suggest power yoga if you've never done it before. Go ahead and switch to the other side. Good.
You can time yourself with breath, right?
Yes,
Like
you can.
10 breaths or what?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Rebecca has a very good suggestion. You can time yourself just with breathing. So like 10 breaths, for example. Long, slow, deep breaths. So remember how you start. You first just sit tall, press down on that knee, lead with the heart, smile on that face, yes, and feel that stretch in that glute, in that hip, yes, and breathe. And I always like to have my clients, especially when I'm, having them stretch, is close their eyes. And what that does is it decreases the stimulation to their brain, and it allows you to tune more into your body and where you're feeling this, and takes you into the present. When we have our eyes open, there's lots of stimulation that we can get distracted with. And the only moment that we really have available to us is the present moment, but most of the time we're out of the moment by thinking of other things and dwelling on other things. So this is your time to just center yourself and release. Good. Excellent. How do we feel?
Great.
Yep. Okay, now we're going to play on the foam rollers. Now, we don't have enough for everybody, so let's maybe 3 of you get together. And we also have some balls. So you
Do
know
you
what?
want to start with the ball?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
start with the ball.
So we
Okay.
have enough for everyone
Okay.
of those. So.
Now, question, do you have these same foam roller things on the paper too?
Yes, on the back.
Yeah.
So you got it all.
So excited.
I love this. She's excited. So excited.
I own a foam roller at home, and I'm not sure that I ever do these right.
Yes.
So, this is nice.
Yes.
You guys are welcome to keep the tennis ball.
Oh my gosh.
I hope you enjoy it.
Excellent. So some of the key things, like let's go to the next one so you can see. Okay. So some of the things. Let's first start with just a little arm massage. So what the tennis ball does is, my mom is actually a massage therapist, and she's always got the tennis ball on her back, and then she's standing at a wall or whatever, doing whatever. But so we'll just start. if you're typing a lot, see, we have a tendency for carpal tunnel syndrome and all of that, and these muscles can get very tense. So see if we could just do a little arm massage. So you just kind of find whose ball has wandered off. Yes. And you just, all we're trying to do is just find those pressure points where you feel tension. I know sometimes the balls would slide out from underneath us. Okay. You're all apologizing. There's no need to apologize. It's okay, but good. Can you feel a little bit of that release in there? Okay, try it on the other side. You know, we're just giving you a taste of these so you kind of have an idea. Yes. You feel that?
What?
You feel that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, I do this a lot.
Yeah. So just explore. Alrighty, team. Now we're going to get up. And we're going to, the first one I want to do, instead of lying down, actually we'll do it lying down. Are we okay? Are you guys okay with being on the floor? Yeah? You can do it in the chair. Yes, you're right. There you go. You can try, if you want to work, this is a common area for some tension. Yes. So you can press against the chair, or you can go against the wall. If you want to get up and venture yourself to the wall, you can do that. And you just find those spots. Once you find, move that ball around.
They are slippery.
Do we ever you?
There you go. So just explore. Just explore. There's different areas. Obviously, our neck and shoulders and upper back are the areas for tension. We have
Well, my wall.
things you didn't know you had there.
Yes, I mean the
And
fireplace
when you
wall.
find a spot
That'll be
that's
the wall.
extra tender, just hold it and press into that and just breathe through it. Breathe through it. Yes.
Did you know this?
Move this thing right here.
The wall's moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a closet.
Oh,
Excellent.
it popped open on you?
Yeah.
Yes. So you're
It
does.
Let's try here.
Yeah. And you can just work your way down your back. Yes.
We're all going to be doing this in our offices.
And it's going to be a beautiful thing.
You know
Yes.
what happens? People forget that we're animals too.
Yes.
Right? And we have all these rules about behavior, like how you should etiquette, how you should walk around your office,
Right.
how you should sit, and how.
Right.
But really, it's not very good for us.
I think you should start walking through the hallway. I'm releasing my myofascial tension. This is for purpose. Right? You know, we're working on our health. Yes. How does that feel? Anybody find any tender spots?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, the knots. Mm-hmm. So yes, once you get there and you hold, just hold and breathe through it. Breathing helps to release that tension. Good, and you can see there's obvious if you wanted to get on the floor. This one here, the glutes. We can even do it in the chair. Come on in the chair.
Right, I was going to say,
Yeah, you can stay there if you want to. So cross your ankle, one ankle over your thigh. And then put that ball down there and just find the tender spots. Last night I was doing this and holy cow, my left side, woo! I was flying through the ceiling. Right side was not so bad.
yeah, the chair is a tiny bit cushy.
It is. You're not getting the full
Absorbing it.
press. Yes, exactly.
Which is better.
If anybody wants to try it on the floor, we might hear some hooting and hollering then. Woo! Just for comparison's sake.
It's getting the leg over.
Get the leg over. Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wait.
I'm not getting up after this. I'm not
Do you move through it, or do you just breathe?
When you find that spot, you hold and you breathe. And do what you can tolerate.
Yeah, you don't have to put your full weight
Yes,
into it.
yes,
Just
adjust.
hold your, yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah? Do you feel that? And you can also explore. Here's another really tight area, is down the side of the leg, the iliotibial band. When you do foam rollers with those, woo! Oh, yes. So anything around the hips And the shoulders and the upper back, you really start to feel it.
That hurts. Yeah.
Yes, that hurts, exactly. So that's where you breathe through it. That's the tension. That's the fuzz. Okay?
Aye.
So you get to take these home and go to your desk and practice today, okay? And every day. All right. So, I mean, there's different things, obviously, foot massage. The areas that you're going to feel it usually the most are the glutes and the upper back and the upper shoulders are usually the key areas. Okay?
We're almost out of time, so if anyone has like specific areas that are tight, you can always ask me too while she's finishing up any questions everybody has. And just to tell you, all the trainers that we all do this at least once a day. Like we can't work out till we do it because we all have our aches and pains too. So it's totally normal to do this, no matter how fit you are.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean something's wrong with you. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I need to get a phone.
Yes. So the foam roller, yes. And we only, does anybody have any questions?
By the way, TJ Maxx and Marshalls carries a lot of these foam rollers and all this equipment stuff.
Yeah.
Super cheap.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
The thing you need to know is they're in different hardnesses. So if you don't know what you like, you can try it here, or you can stop by the gym and try it and see what if you like the soft, medium, hard. Usually, the more you do it, the harder you need. So it's always fine to start with the softer. But yeah, I'm happy to show anyone that wants to actually try these. Just while you're here.
Yes. So we should wrap up because I want to be mindful of your time. But yes, key thing, walking. Walk as much as you can. Ideally 10,000 steps. Does anybody have a Fitbit? Yes, all righty. It's a very good tracker to kind of keep you on, I got to get out and get my walks in, my steps in. A real funny story I'll tell you about my dad. I bought my dad a Fitbit a couple years ago, and I told him about 10,000 steps a day. He didn't hear the day part, and so after a week, I called him. I said, "So how are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I think I'm doing really good." And he says, "Yeah, I got 11,000 steps." And I said, "A day?" He's like, "No, for the week." I said, "Yeah, no, it's 10,000 steps a day." And he's like, "A day?" And he's like, "Well, get out and go for a walk." I said, "Yes, that's what it's all about." He's like, "Oh my gosh, I thought you meant for a week." Anyway.
And I like it because it also
And just see if
like
you
you
find-
can
feel
track how
anything
many
tight.
active hours in a day
Yes.
you have.
Yes. And it also shows you
Feel
how
anything in
well
there?
you slept
Yeah,
at
so
night, how
wherever
much
you feel
sleep you
tight,
actually
just
get.
hold
You
it
can
there
also
so you can
enter
put it
in the food that you have. You can see how many calories you consumed versus what you expended. All of that. I definitely recommend a Fitbit or a Jawbone. There's different times. Some of our, the iWatch and all of that stuff will do some of that stuff as well. So, but it's really important. If we can get 10,000 steps a day is ideally what we're looking for. And I think, so key things to remember, movement equals life. You are important, you are valuable, your health is your best investment in yourself. Being healthy means more energy, fun, laughter, joy, time with those you love, more life itself. And that's it. So if you have any questions, obviously you have Rebecca here. You're more than welcome to reach out to me and ask me any questions that you might have about anything, exercise. But like I say, you've got your fitness group here. But thank you so much, and I hope this was valuable for you. And I'm sure if I check in with Rebecca, and she'll be checking in with you guys, that you'll be with your balls and your foam rollers in the gym. Yeah? All right.
Thank you so much.
Yay!